What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Just Parenthings. Today, we're going to talk about private and public preschools. So just to set some context, KK sent her kids to private school and Esther sent her kids to public school. And I think in everybody's mind, we all know the biggest difference here, right? And the biggest difference here is price.
Cha-ching.
Right? And I feel like if, let's say, as a parent, if you're gonna pay the price, the first question you ask is, what is the difference? Why do you choose to send your kids to private school versus a public school?
Initially, it was because I heard from people around me that the school that I sent them to preps them for primary school. So that when they enter primary school, they won't face a culture shock or suddenly oh my god, I have to do so much homework, I have to do so much writing, because they already start in K1, K2 to prep them already. So they're very, very prepared for primary school.
Okay.
So I did it to make the transition easier for them. Basically make them study first earlier. Yeah.
So when you say prep them for primary school, does public school have a similar experience?
Yeah, I mean, Sparkle Talks, right? PAP. There is a very set route, or the curriculum is structured in such a way where you basically are prepped to go into primary school as well. But I do know of a different government school that has a more play-based approach.
There's private schools also with more play-based also.
Yeah, so my second one, Megan, she went to my first school. So my first school has a more play-based approach, which may have been more suited for her, considering that she was always very distracted and for her to sit down and write. And she has dyslexia, right? And I didn't know at that point of time. So I think maybe it was the right choice, even though I didn't know it then. Yeah.
Wait, so are there, when you say play-based, right? So the different public schools, they all have different approaches.
All schools have different approaches. Some like Montessori, some
some outdoor learning. They're very big on forest adventure.
So that's my first school, there's Sparkle Thoughts.
There's a lot.
There is MOE kindergarten.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all these schools provide different types of learning.
They got different curriculum.
Right. Okay. And when it comes to public school, the different types of learning, right? Is it different prices or all kind of similar?
I think it's slightly different, but it's all about the same one . Yeah, and the subsidies you get also is roughly the same. You get your working mother's subsidy, I think for private school also. And then additional subsidy depends on your income. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so if let's say now, what else do you get for paying a hefty price in private school?
I think ratio.
Smaller teacher to student ratio.
Smaller ratio, which is important for me . I would rather them have more attention .
I mean, different age got different student teacher ratio, but for, let's say, nursery, for Sparkle Thoughts is 1 to 12. And then for 4 years old, which is your N2, is 1 teacher to 15 students. K1 is 1 teacher to 20, and then K2 is 1 teacher to 25. So I think private
Actually, around the same. But
is it the same?
Yeah, but I would think that when I sent my kids in, the ratio just wasn't this high. It wasn't full yet. Yeah, maybe because of the price or what. I don't know.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like as the kid grow older, the ratio should get smaller, no? Because they are way more active.
No, because...
But at the same time, they are more able also.
No, they will listen to instructions. And then they will follow, and then they will just be a line, and they will gather in groups.
Yeah.
When they're younger, they need a smaller ratio.
When they're older, they can listen to instructions. They're more disciplined.
Correct.
I feel like it's a double-edged sword.
But you can leave them to do their homework on their own. They won't eat the crayon,
Oh my god.
When you're a parent, you know. The younger, the more you need to really eye power them.
What I've heard from friends is that when you send your kids to private schools, some private schools, they offer private chefs. Have you guys do you experience in this?
No, my kids don't have private chef, but then I know Odyssey has private chef.
Okay.
Yeah.
But But I'm really curious, like what does the private chef do? Like cook one-on-one for the kid?
No lah, like maybe cook on the spot lah, cause there isn't a chef that cooks for like my kids in school. There's like maybe like a bit of a meal prep. Maybe they heat it up or what. Yeah, but I don't think majority of the cooking is done in the school itself. So they have like a caterer, but then the private chef probably cooks everything from scratch.
Because my kids' school, they have an auntie. I mean, do you call that a private? They have an auntie who cooks like when we were younger. Yeah, cook porridge and all, and then she cooks in the main bay, and then it will be served to the classrooms where they have their meals. Yeah.
How can she cook so much?
So I think this is what a private chef does. Okay, if let's say I'm the business, I'm going to offer a private chef, right? I think in me assuming, I think it's based on maybe more calculated diets. So for example, it is not a cook house. However, it is a private chef or whatever they want to call it, right? This chef decides, okay, this kid needs this amount of nutrients. And for example, if let's say your kid is something intolerant, and then a private chef can make a slight, difference to your kids.
That's what they do. Like this one cannot eat eggs, this one can eat chicken, this one don't want to eat beef. Then that's what the private chef does, lor.
Okay, and public school, do they offer that also?
I have no idea because my kids eat everything, so I never had that issue. But I'm pretty sure, like if the school will definitely ask
what are their allergies.
Correct.
Yeah.
What are their dietary restrictions.
Okay, what about curriculums? Is there a difference between private school curriculums and public school curriculum?
Definitely, it's not about private or public. Even within my kids' school, the different branches have different curriculum. So actually, when we were touring the schools, we looked at the curriculum of every center, and then we picked the one that we like.
I think for like government schools, it's pretty much about the same. You know, you have music class, you have your mother tongue, your literacy class, art class, your outdoor. They basically plan a very holistic approach where the kids get to try a bit of everything. And then, some private schools, they have like cooking classes for the kids. Now, even the government schools, they do that. They call it young chefs.
Oh,
yeah. So
I didn't know it's a private school thing.
Yeah. So last time Sparkle Tots back years and years ago didn't have. But then in recent years, they incorporated that into the curriculum also, where the kids will prep really easy foods like yogurt or make pizza.
My kids are like cooking like almost like definitely every week. I don't know how often because the updates are not like in real time, but they are always cooking. Like every week they are cooking something on.
But what do they cook?
Can be more like shim stuff, not just prep yogurt. Got like heat one, got stove, and then got baking.
Yeah, that's what I think also. Like it. For private schools, they probably have maybe they can cook pasta, But for the ones that my kid does, it's more make pizza. You put the pepperoni and then they toast,
topping.
That kind. Do you have to pay for the ingredients, or is it in your school fees already?
I think it's in the school fees.
So for ours, right, the parents have to take turns to pay for the ingredients weekly. So like maybe this week, it's my turn to pay for the whole class ingredients. Like not like everything. Like maybe like 1 loaf of bread and 2 packets of strawberries, and then maybe another parent gets like another 2 ingredients.
Why is it so like potluck style?
Yeah. So
why can't it be like in the school fees everybody pay the same amount?
I don't know. Maybe because they plan the different.
Then what if one day like I'm supposed to buy the abalone and then you buy the
abalone?
Yeah, I mean example lah. Like not fair what?
Yeah, I don't know, but you wouldn't know what. You wouldn't know. So
you get delegated the.
Yeah.
But you buy or you just pay?
You buy and bring to the school. So there's this one day that I forgot.
Wait. So how do they explain this to you?
Like hi mom.
Yeah.
This week is your turn to buy the abalone.
And you never ask why?
Huh?
Like why are we paying for ingredients?
I don't ask. Like I assume we all agreed to young chefs. I think that they would have probably sent out a memo, right? That your kid will be doing this. Do you consent? And then there will be extra fees or whatever that you have to cover lah. Yeah.
And that's so weird and strange.
That is. Oh wait. This is for the curriculum, not for generally. Like generally
No,
what
this
they
is
eat?
for not what they eat. This is for the young chefs where they cook and prep the
Then
food.
it makes sense.
No, it does not. Then what if some like blur parent go and buy expired
Pork.
or take from the house
Yeah, or what if they buy pork?
Huh?
or something that
Wait.
includes like has pork?
Yeah.
Okay, the teacher will tell you.
So you're told what to buy
Yeah,
lah.
and usually it doesn't involve raw meat lah.
No lah, maybe like, okay, they buy non-halal stuff.
But can be like pork floss bun what? Like you buy the wrong type of bread.
White bread. Because they're supposed to make something, right? You wouldn't buy a freaking like ready-made bun.
Yeah, okay, but what if like the white bread has like some kind of nut and then one kid got like nut allergy and then the you confirm don't know ma?
Yeah. Okay, I
That
see. I think I
that
see
sounds
the.
like there's a lot of room for. I will not be okay with
No,
that.
there's a lot of room for human error.
Yeah, yeah,
Agree.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like even as friends,
Yeah,
right? Let's say-
even my husband can buy wrongly.
yeah.
you know?
If let's say we go Hai Di Lao,
Yeah.
one Chinese friend forget,
Yeah.
put the pork inside, I'm done. Like I cannot eat this. Yeah, so I see the room for human error.
Yeah, yeah.
But we are not saying that private school doesn't have room for human error also.
Maybe that's why public school parents are more chill.
Yeah.
Like we're just like, okay, we kampong style, let's go.
No, I agree though. Like the other thing that I want to ask also like
Yeah.
facilities. So like I've seen online videos where parents get access to cameras, or there are apps where the
Well,
parents
we
get
have-
access to where basically they get updates about their child.
Same lah. Public school
Yeah.
also got what?
Okay,
Like the
public school
check
also
in,
have
check out. Check in,
And then
check
the
out.
updates, the
Yeah.
teachers will always take photo update.
Yeah, in fact, the public schools have like a pick, check in, check out. My one doesn't.
So you take photo who
Yeah.
brought them to school, who
Yeah, or
bring
how
them-
they look like. Are they happy or not? Yeah, I can't see my kids' mood when they reach school.
Yeah. What I thought was very weird, and this is a very long time ago. Okay, I don't know whether it's still similar now because I don't live around HDBs anymore. So when I used to live around HDBs, right, and I walk past the public schools, and I can see the children like sleeping or whatever, it makes me uncomfortable.
Why?
When,
I don't know.
but
They're
when they're
napping what?
sleeping, they put the,
No, I
the
mean that
shades
one
down.
didn't lah. That one didn't lah. I feel like it should be private, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not saying that, or rather, like I if let's say I'm a parent, I don't want like people to be lurking around and just like watching my kids and everything. It just feels a bit off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I mean, imagine if you're a pedophile
Yeah.
and then someone's daughter is like sleeping there.
Yeah, it just feels weird to me.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so, and then if let's say private schools, there's a drop off, and then like like
They're far. They people from the outside cannot see them.
But I think that's a double-edged sword, right? Because if people can see and it's more open, then less things like abuse would happen because people can see, right? But if it's behind closed doors, anything can happen if there's no CCTV. Yeah. I feel like
Nah, I'm more concerned about like strangers
Yeah, I
than
think I'm more-
teachers. Yeah, like I trust the teachers at my champs.
Like as a kid, right, I have entertained a lot of strangers. Yeah, when people, I'm not saying like the low hanging fruit, like I'll give you sweet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But like if strangers talk to me, I will entertain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see the dangers in that. And if let's say, like if every day my class is just like open to everybody, they can see. Like I see if let's say I have a kid, I don't want my kid to go through that. Also, like I mean, it can be anything.
but
Okay,
that's like outside of school premises lah.
Yeah.
But in the preschool
Yeah,
setting,
but if the stranger, let's say like pedophiles can look at your daughter and can observe your daughter, right?
I would trust that the teachers are vigilant to
Okay,
1
wait,
to 20, no, please.
we are not saying
like
that.
if they're
you know,
looking outside the window, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the teachers will also be like quite uncomfortable.
And then, okay, I think this is the aunties and the mummies in your speaking, right? But I don't think we are saying that public schools like this will happen. It's just that during our time, like it was placed in a position where people from outside can view in, and I see if let's say there's a discomfort that parents are saying, I get it. Okay, then now we talk about the price difference, right? I know a month of private school can go as high as 3.8K a month.
I don't think that's the most ex. I think probably got more one. I don't know how much is Eton House. I don't know. I just googled the price of Eton House. It's 476.40 cents for full day for 10-week term.
But it's like the highest price, right? I'm sure like Singaporean is like
Little House is
different
3.9.
price.
Blue House, which I never heard of, 2.9. Lorna Whiston, 2.3. White Lodge, all these I don't know, international school, 2.23. Pet Schoolhouse, 2.1. Brighton Montessori, 2.1. Chiltern House, 2K. Yeah.
And private school, the highest is?
You mean
Public
government
school?
Okay, so government school is about 1K plus before
Per month.
all your subsidies.
Yeah.
Okay. And after subsidy?
You can. Working mothers relief is how much? Right?
350,
Yeah, about there. And then if you have additional subsidies, it can go even lower.
Wait, how much do you pay?
I have 2 kids.
Okay.
And my son goes for extra class. So I pay more than that. More than that. Maybe
Okay, so here's why. Okay, does the school...
7K for
Does private school offer specialists? So for example, if let's say... why did I want to say Rachel? If, for example, if Megan has dyslexia, right? Does private school offer like special lessons for her?
In my church, there's this other segment of the school called Allied Care.
Okay.
So usually it's a separate like entity, but it's still under the Mind Champs group. So Allied Care is for kids who need like extra classes.
Same goes for government school. They will
Okay.
have, they call it AED, right? Allied Educators.
EIP program.
To
Early
these
intervention
students,
program.
correct, to intervene early to help these children. So Megan had that in my first school. Yeah, she would have, I think once a week, where one of the allied educators will come down and go through a literacy program with her every week.
Actually, no, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Actually, right, schools, right, or rather private schools, right, is actually so much more of impressing the parents than impressing the kids.
No, my kids were very happy when.
No, I know, but I don't think they understand.
Like they are selling to you
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
enroll
Yeah,
your kids.
to enroll your kids, right? And like, it is the littlest things, right, that will make my kid have a, or rather, it makes me feel like my kid is safe first. I will buy.
Thing that sold me why I sent them there was because when I was touring, I saw the whole bunch of kids, right, sitting in a circle and like looking at the teacher, like the teacher is like Pied Piper, you know, like some voodoo, and I love the attention span that they gave, that they had, which when I saw my son in his previous school, he's just like running around, like doing zoomies.
Okay, so if you see this in a public school, will you
Yeah.
go like, okay?
I might, but I didn't tour any.
And again, everything is dependent on the teachers, right? Because like
correct.
Very,
Very true.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like I bad comparison, but I came from a neighborhood school. My form teacher was tip top. There's this guy, like, and I'm still friends with him today. You know,
People who care.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we are not saying that, you know, maybe like again, very dependent. Maybe some private schools don't have teachers who care as much as the teachers in public school. Like we don't know that. It's really
It's like
heavily.
character, what? Like you
Yeah.
date one boyfriend to the other. How do you know this person is better than this person?
Yeah, but in terms of qualifications, we are also unsure which one has more qualified teachers. So, for example, if let's say preschool teacher, all you need is a O levels or tertiary, right? But maybe in private schools, these people have like higher education.
I would believe they go through another round of training. Yeah, like there is like certain number of hours that they need to clock above like a normal preschool teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they put in the extra hours lah. So it's like I don't know how I can say this without being offensive. Like, you know, you study for a degree and then people study for a PhD. So there's the extra, like you study a few more years.
No,
mah.
fair though. I mean, as adults also, we will, if let's say we want to see a specialist, like we will see like, oh, you know what?
So
as easy as it is,
If
lawyers.
I'm not wrong, they command a higher pay also. Yeah,
Private school.
Yeah, so I mean, you are paying for exactly
Yeah lah.
what you're paying for lah.
Yeah lah,
Which is nothing wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think at the end of the day, it's really dependent on what you can afford. I feel like this is the most important thing. We are not saying which is better, which is not. It's really what you can afford. And I mean, for Esther's experience, public schools are
great.
great.
My kid is in a good school. Yeah.
Every day, I feel every day they come back happy. They are well fed. They are alive. It's great.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it also boils down to the kid themselves, like how much they can absorb. Like,
if I was a single parent and living with my parents in Bishan, I'll just send them to the downstairs one because it's just convenient. Yeah. Convenience is very important also, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got school bus, not school bus.
Yeah, my kids take school bus. Extra 1K.
I think
900 plus, 900 plus.
I think I'm not sure. I think I can't remember.
Yeah, I forgot to add that in
I don't
to
know.
my bill.
Wait.
There's
Extra
two kids.
1K?
I have 2 kids.
So
That's
it's
500 a
four-
kid, right?
450.
Yeah, but I think it's cheaper for your helper to put them in a Grab and send them there.
No.
Okay, yeah, but at the end of the day, we're saying it's really heavily dependent on what you can afford.
Your
right?
comfort level.
Yeah, your comfort level. And it also,
whatever school you go to, I really think that you should tour the school. Whether private or public school, you tour the school, see the teacher, see the culture.
Yeah.
That's very important.
And also what you think suits your kid best.
yeah, so I
correct,
think
correct.
the other important thing is like, so for example, if someone like SSK like Megan has very special needs, and you really need to Google this to see which school offers that help for your kid lah. Yeah, so it doesn't matter private or public. I think for as long as your kid receives the education that he or she needs, the help that he or she needs.
Yes.
If let's say your kid has allergies or everything, make sure the school like can also like attend to that.
Don't eat the little chefs.
Yeah.
Just play can already.
Yeah. If you guys have any experiences that you guys want to share with us about private schools or public schools, you can leave them in the comment section below. If not, we'll see you guys in the next episode.